Okay, what's up guys, and welcome to what is hopefully going to be the first in a lot of tutorials in the new series I'm doing. You can see on my YouTube channel currently I have an empty playlist called tutorials, which I've aptly named, and today is going to be the first one that I intend to add to it. So what we're going to be doing today is, if you have seen the latest video I uploaded called BMX bike tricks, you will see that at this shot, it's buffering, here we go, this is it. The slow-mo shot where my friend George jumps over a big mound on a bike. And the thing I want to do today is show you how to get that really smooth slow motion. So we're going to be editing in Premiere Pro, which is the editor that I use, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about different frame rates and stuff because it's quite important for slow motion. So the main problem with people that do slow motion is normally if you record on your phone or a basic camera or something, they record at 24 frames per second, which means that for every 1 second of video there are 24 pictures that are taken and spliced into a film. And then if you slow this down, it goes to about 12 frames per second, and that's when you get the really jumpy slow motion that doesn't look very good. And the way to counter that is to have a camera that records at a higher frame rate, for example 50 or 60, and the more frames per second the slower you can make it. So for example, at 50 frames per second you can slow it down to 25 frames per second, and then that looks like 24 frames per second. Or you can have 60, which is what I have on my GoPro, and it's slow, so you can slow it down by 2.5 times average speed. You can even go up to like 120 and slow it down by 4 times average speed. It's really cool. So we're in Premiere Pro today, so the first thing we need to do is set the scratch disk for where we're going to save all of our stuff. That's the wrong folder. Go back. Oh dear, this is going well. Tutorials, slow motion. I even made a folder for it. How organized am I? We're just going to call this slow motion jump because that's what it is. Bada bing, bada boom. And then this should open in a second. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to import the footage from the bike video that I made with George, but you can do whatever you want. GoPro footage, and then it's low angle jump. This is the one. So this is the same one as the video on YouTube. And the first thing you want to do is just drag it down here. You can do this stuff in different programs. It's pretty much the same techniques. The buttons might be in slightly different places. If you haven't got an editing software and you want to get into this sort of thing, Windows Movie Maker for PCs and iMovie for Macs are both free. They're good software. They haven't got as many features, but if you're just getting into it, then you'll be perfectly fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is click this little button here, which basically means that instead of selecting the video and the audio separately, you can select them both at the same time, which is what we want to do for this. So I'm going to press C, which brings up the blade tool, and I'm going to cut the video at the bit where George comes in and then does a bit of a jump, and I'm going to cut it there and press V to select the arrow again, just delete the bits we don't need. So I'm going to bring this up, I'm going to drag this to zoom in a little bit so we can see more of the timeline. So the technical term for what we're going to do is called time remapping or time ramping, and it's basically where it goes from normal speed to slowing it down about here to like slow-mo, then it just goes a lot slower than it normally would, and then back to normal speed at the end. So the first thing you have to do in Premiere Pro anyway is click this little box here on the top left of the timeline that says FX, go down to time remapping and click speed. And then if you're on a Mac you press Command, if you're on a Windows PC you do Control, Control. So you hold it down, and then if you hover over this white line, the cursor changes to a little white arrow and a plus. So what you want to do is click that where the slow-mo starts, and then go to where you want it to end, about here, and I'm just going to click again. And then all you have to do is change it to how slow you want it to be. So like it's out of a percentage, so mine's going to be 40% of 100, because 100 divided by 24 is roughly 40%. So you can see now it goes from the 24 frames per second bit to 60 frames per second, and the reason the slow-mo works is because it's filmed at 60 frames per second and it's slowing it down to 24. So basically it's the same frames, but because it's 60 it takes longer to go through the frames, so it spaces it out a bit more, and that's why it slows down. So it goes from normal speed, slow motion, normal speed, but the problem is for me, I don't like it to go like just jump from one to the other. So as you can see here, what I'm actually going to do is drag this tab out, which creates a little diagonal line, and this basically means it's like a smoother transition between the slow-mo. So there, that looks a bit more professional now. So the last thing you have to do is just uncheck this little link button so we can select them separately again. Press C, and I'm going to select where the slow-mo starts, I'm going to cut the audio. I'm going to press V and right click it and then change the speed and duration to 40%. So now the audio matches the video at slow-mo, and then press C again and cut it where it ends, press V, click, right click, change speed and duration, set it to 100%, and then you can see it matches perfectly at the end again. So now the finished result is a nice speed ramped slow motion shot of George going over a jump on a bike. So yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. I'm just going to quickly go over the export settings for you guys. This is just the stuff that I do, and it's the same in every software really. As I said, the buttons will probably just be in slightly different places. Okay, so the format that I use is H.264. You can use other formats, QuickTime for example. However, QuickTime is a much bigger file, so H.264 is recommended for YouTube because it's quite a small file and it keeps the highest quality possible. The bitrate is set to match the source, so it's a high bitrate at the moment because I filmed it with a good quality camera. I'm going to set the output quickly. I'll just save it to my desktop actually, so I can show it to you when it's exported. Low angle jump. You want to make sure you export audio and video. That's pretty important for something like this. Obviously here, I always click match source unless it's something specific, but 99.9% of the time, you can just leave it exactly as it is. Always make sure you click this button, use maximum render quality. That just makes sure that it comes out as best as it possibly can at the other end of the rendering everything. I have my audio format set to AAC as opposed to uncompressed because it just makes the file sizes smaller and doesn't make much of a difference. And then after I've done all of this, I just hit Q. And what this does is it sends it to a program called Adobe Media Encoder. And from this point, I can just hit this green triangle in the top right and it starts exporting my video. So you can see here it's going through. It's only a short clip, so it's already done. It takes like 2 seconds. And also, I have a lot of RAM in my MacBook Pro, so it's really quick. And now, as you can see, I have a finished clip of George going over a jump on his BMX. Pretty damn magical, if you ask me. So that is the secret behind getting really smooth slow motion. I've been Alfie from Alfie Vaughan Films. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. There'll be many more coming soon, and yeah, thanks for watching.